Good morning. Our chapter today about integrated marketing, communications, and international advertising. The current chapter is going to discuss first, what are the characteristics for local market that affect the advertising and promotion of products. Second, what are the strengths and weaknesses of sales promotion and public relations in global marketing. Third, when global advertising is most effective. And when modified advertising is necessary. Finally, what are communication process and advertising spheres? Global perspective. How to develop an effective integrated marketing communications. Actually, integrated marketing communications are composed of advertising, sales promotions, trade associations, personal selling, direct selling, and public relations. In many markets, the availability of appropriate communication channels to customers can determine entry decisions. Or, in other words, can help decision makers to make the right decisions. Let us start with sales promotion in international market. Sales promotions are marketing activities that stimulate consumer purchases and improve retailer or middleman effectiveness and cooperation. So, the main goal is to stimulate consumer purchases and at the same time improving retailer or middleman effectiveness and cooperation. Let me draw your attention to the main types of sales promotion devices designed to supplement advertising and personal selling in the promotional mix. And this includes discount in prices, free samples, coupons, and gifts. On the other hand, international advertising includes perform marketing research, specify the goals of the communication, develop the most effective message for the market segments selected, select effective media, compose and secure a budget, execute the campaign, and finally evaluate the campaign relative to the goals specified. In other words, to what extent the campaign can achieve the goals of the communication. Okay, let me draw your attention to the strengths and the weaknesses of sales promotion and public relations in global marketing. And let us start with the strengths and weaknesses of sales promotion. The strengths of sales promotions first are short-term efforts directed to the consumer or retailer to achieve specific objectives. Such as consumer product test or immediate purchase. In this case, free samples can help. Second, consumer introduction to the store or brand. Gaining retail point of purchase displays, encouraging stores to stock the product, and supporting and augmenting advertising and personal sales efforts. On the other hand, the weaknesses of sales promotion. Consumer is hard to reach because of media limitations. The budget or the percentage of the promotional budget allocated to sales promotion may have to be increased. Secondly, in some less developed countries, sales promotions constitute the major portion of the promotional effort. In less accessible parts of the market. Okay, let me draw your attention to the strengths and weaknesses of public relations in global marketing. Public relations, or PR. The job constitutes of not only encouraging the press to cover positive stories about companies, but also managing unfavorable stories and events. The main strengths of public relations, such as creating good relationships with the popular press and other media, to help companies communicate messages to their publics, customers, the general public, and governmental regulators. On the other hand, the weaknesses of public relations includes first, no direct control. Unlike advertising, you can't exactly control how business is portrayed by the media. Second, no guaranteed results. Spend time and money on writing a press release, getting suitable photography, but can never guarantee your story will be published. And this can result in poor return on investment. And finally, evaluation. It is difficult to measure the effectiveness of PR activities. Advertising strategy and goals. Let us start with marketing problems. And this requires careful marketing research, thoughtful and creative advertising campaign in country, regional, and global markets. Increased need for more sophisticated advertising strategies, and a need to balance between standardization of advertising themes and customization. And finally, what about consumer cultures? Product attributes and benefits segmentation. First, different cultures usually agree on the benefit of the primary function of a product or service. In some cases, other features and psychological attributes of the item can have significant differences. For example, cameras and yogurt, blue diamond. First, assume that no two markets will react the same. Second, each has its own set of differences. Third, and accordingly, each will require a different marketing approach and strategy. Regional segmentation. Pan-European communication media highlights need for more standardized promotional efforts. Cost savings with a common theme in uniform promotional packaging and design. And finally, legal restrictions slowly begin eliminated. Our last point about global advertising and the communication process. Point number 4. You should consider first, if not probably considered, different cultures context can increase the probability of misunderstanding. Second, effective communications demand the existence of a psychological overlap between the sender in one hand and the receiver on the other hand. And finally, it can never be assumed that if it sells well in one country, it will sell in another. The international communication process. The main steps in this process includes the starting point from information source, then encoding, message channel, decoding, and receiver. Let us start with each step to understand the international communication process. Step number 1, an information source. An international marketing executive with a product message to communicate. The second step is encoding the message from the source converted into effective symbolism for transmission to a receiver. The third step, a message channel. And this includes the sales force and or advertising media that convey the encoded messages to the intended receiver. The fourth step, decoding. The interpretation by the receiver of the symbolism transmitted from the information source. Step number 5, receiver. Consumer action by those who receive the message and are the target for the thought transmitted. Step number 6, and this refers to feedback. Information about the effectiveness of the message that follows from the receiver back to the information source for evaluation of the effectiveness of the process. And this is very important to make any adjustment needed. Noise. Uncontrollable and unpredictable influences such as competitive activities. And the confusion. That detract from the process and affect any or all of the other 6 steps. Okay, these are the main steps in the international communication process. And here is some questions for discussion to examine your understanding for this part. Thank you and good luck.